Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Andrew's Life. This is going to be another video of Newcastle, Indiana. Now, on this video, I'm going to be driving through a community here in Newcastle to where, now this area is not the best. I mean, it's not the most fluent part of Newcastle. I mean, this is one of those type of communities where, you know, it's a decent neighborhood. The majority of your houses here are well kept. The yards are clean. Right now, I am driving on Midway Drive. Now, if you're in the market to purchase a home, and you don't have quite the amount of money that may be necessary to buy houses that you saw on my last video that I made of Newcastle, then you might want to check out this particular community. Now, this community basically, I mean, the way that I would rate this community is, I mean, like I said, if you have the funds to buy another home, but you want something maybe a little nicer and a little newer than what you'll find on than what you'll find in the older section of Newcastle, which is what my videos that I made of Newcastle back about a year ago will show. If you're wanting a community nicer than that, but you don't necessarily have the funds to buy in a community as fancy as some of the communities I showed you on my latest video of Newcastle, then this is a type of community that you might want to come and check out. And I would say right now, you can most likely grab up one of these houses for around I would say, if you have, I mean, I'm going to go down Criswell Street, C-R-I-S Well Street. This is Criswell Street. Now, like I was saying, I would say if you have at least $75,000 and you're in the market to purchase a home and you're wanting to live here in Newcastle, if I were you, you might want to come and check out this community here in Newcastle. Now, the last video that I've had of Newcastle was more or less on the far south end of the city. Some of the areas that you saw were technically outside the city limits. But this video right here is basically, I mean, I'm not sure whether this would be considered the south end of Newcastle, or if it's considered just the middle of Newcastle, because it's not too far away from downtown. So I'm not sure what side of town this is. So if anybody knows this general area, feel free to leave a comment below. Right now, I am on, it doesn't even say what street I'm on. Well, Right now, I am turning down Swarthmore Street. Warthmoor. Swarthmore Street. That's the street I'm driving down right now. Now, if you guys look around, I mean, a lot of these houses are going to be a little closer in together, and the yards are going to be a little smaller compared to the last video that you saw of Newcastle. But I would say right now in this current housing market, if you have at least $75,000, you ought to be able to come around here and buy something move-in condition ready. And once again, just like I told you guys on my last video that I made of Newcastle, this is going to be another one of those videos that I make to show people that if you're wanting to live in a decent community that's quiet, low crime, you can do so without having to spend a ton of money. I mean, I would say around here, like I said, if you got at least $75,000, you can come around here and find something. Some of these bigger houses that you're currently looking at will probably go for closer to $100,000. Which $100,000 even is going to be a lot cheaper than than buying a house in any of your suburbs. Now, this street I'm on is right off of Memorial Parkway, or otherwise known as Route 3 here in Newcastle. And I'm trying to look for a sign that states what road I'm on. As soon as I find one, I'll let you guys know. I am on, this is Midway Road I'm on right now. This is Midway Road. But yeah, like I told you on my last video, the population here in Newcastle is declining. It's been declining for several years. However, Newcastle is not a bad community to live in. I mean, here in Newcastle, the crime rate's pretty low. It's a relatively quiet city. I mean, for the most part, people here are fairly nice. Let's go. I'm gonna go down Melody Lane. This is Melody Lane. Now, these houses are gonna be a little bit more expensive than the rest of the houses that you guys saw. Now, I would say in this community, you'll be looking at a couple $100,000 at least for a home. I mean, some of these homes you'll be looking at every bit of a couple $100,000. And some of these other ones that are a tad smaller, you can probably grab up for around 125 to start. But even if I'm off on the prices, I can guarantee you that if you move to this neighborhood here in Newcastle, Indiana, you're gonna get a lot more bang for the buck compared to what you would get in any of your communities in the suburbs. I'm gonna turn down on Cherry Streets. Like when you guys look around, I mean, as you guys can see, this is a very nice community out here. Very nice. Now, of course, as I keep going up the street here, I'll run into the older part of Newcastle. I'm gonna go down Maplewood Drive. And for those of you that are looking to upgrade your community, FYI, I mean, sometimes when you go into some of these communities that are low-key, where the population might be shrinking, where certain pieces of statistics may not look the best on paper, sometimes when you visit these communities in person and you talk to a few natives in that particular community, you will find that despite how the statistics might look on paper, the actual experience in that community is going to be far better. So, like, for an example, when it comes to how much you might spend on housing, if you're willing to, for lack of better terms, if you're willing to think outside the box when it comes to housing, I mean, rather than focusing on only the areas that everyone else has told you is a good place to live, or most people know that might be a good place to live. If you look at areas like Newcastle, Indiana, that's low key, to where on paper it may not look so good, like when it comes to the population, it may not look so good. And some of these communities, in a lot of these communities I do videos on, when it comes to maybe the educational statistics, the school district might get an F in education, which I got my little opinions about that, which I'm not going to discuss right now. That's going to be for a whole nother video. But anyways, sometimes when you go into a community like this one where certain pieces of statistics may not look the best on paper, but then when you come here to visit in person, like I said a minute ago, your experience will be completely different. I mean, you might leave the area being like, wow, man, people here are so nice. A lot of the streets are relatively clean. Houses are very reasonably priced. So you might come into the area like this with all type of negative energy, so to speak, thinking that this is going to be just some hole in the wall type of community. I mean, you might come here thinking that Newcastle was going to be some hole in the wall type of city. This is Lincoln Avenue. This is Hawthorne, Hawthorne Road. But yeah, anyways, you might come into a city like Newcastle to where you're thinking, okay, when you first come into Newcastle, your energy might not be the best because you're thinking, okay, based on paper, the population here is shrinking. And on paper, Newcastle does have a drug problem. And the school district here may not get the best grade necessarily. But then once you get here and you drive around like I'm driving around, and you interact with a few people and talk to them, you might drive away from this community with a whole different attitude. I mean, you'll come here not wanting to buy a house because you're thinking, oh man, this is going to be a ran down piece of shit city. And then when you drive off, you're thinking, you know what? I might buy that house over there on the corner. I mean, it's a low price. I mean, you know, it's low. The cost of living here is low price. People here are nice. For the most part, many parts of the city are clean. And it's relatively low key, which is what many people in this day and age are looking for when it comes to looking for a new community to reside in. And that's why I tell you, people, don't just go off of statistics. If there's a place that you really, really, really want to live, and maybe you're 50-50, you don't quite know what you want to do because you don't have all the information in front of your face. Like I said, I mean, yeah, go ahead and look at statistics. But beyond looking at statistics, take the time to physically drive through the area and check it out in person. And like I said, ask questions and talk to some of the locals. I'm driving down Indiana Avenue right now, here in Newcastle, Indiana. But yeah, like I was saying, it's always worth taking out a little time out of your day to physically check out an area for yourself, as opposed to only looking at statistics and then making your decision only based off of statistics. Now, at this point, I'm getting to the older section of Newcastle, where your housing prices are going to be cheaper and the yards are going to be smaller and the houses are going to be closer together and stuff. Which, and I've already done a video on this part of Newcastle, so I'm not going to do another video on this part of Newcastle because I've already done some on this part of Newcastle. But yeah, I just wanted to do these videos just to show you guys that in some of these cities, to where the population is declining, there's a lot of gem of a community that you can find, and you can get you a pretty decent deal on a house in that particular area. Like, rather than buying something in, let's say, Carmel for $225,000, you can buy something very similar to that here in Newcastle for $100,000. Alright, people, I'm going to end the video. I think I have got my point across. At least I hope I did. So before I start to sound too much like a broken record, I'm going to end the video. Everybody have a blessed one, and I will see you guys on the next video.